Before we go any further, I'd like to thank our honorary hosts, Dr. and Mrs. Marvin Eastlund and Dr. and Mrs. Phil Tyndall. Both Dr. Eastlund and Dr. Tyndall provided excellent medical care to Northeast Indiana for many years and are well known for their commitment to defending babies and their mothers. So I'd like to welcome, and please join me in welcoming Dr. Eastlund to the podium. Welcome. Thank you for hosting. Okay.
Good evening. I hope I can see you. The lights are pretty bright up here. We are gathered together tonight to focus on the word life. It's something that we take for granted, yet it's something we all enjoy at this very moment. There are no words that accurately define the process of life, yet we all know what it is. To us individually, life is precious and valuable. We pause tonight to focus our attention on the opportunity for the unborn to experience life. In 1968, I experienced an event that was seared into my memory and replays repeatedly in my mind as if it occurred just a couple hours ago. I was a junior medical student and had just started my clinical rotation on obstetrics and gynecology. As our small group of students who were to be on the OBGYN service that month gathered on our first morning and talked with a resident, we were given assignments for the day. I was told to quickly move on to the operating room to scrub in on a surgery that would be that would soon be starting. The procedure was a hysterotomy and would be something I probably would not see many of in my career. Because there was not enough time for the resident to give me details about the case, he told me to just go scrub in and assist with this surgery, and I would be given the details of the situation in the operating room. As a junior student and eager to learn everything you could learn in medicine and being on our clinical rotations and actually seeing a real-life patient and that type of thing, I was excited to be able to have a front row seat for an unusual surgery that was about ready to happen. I remember arriving and getting gowned and gloved and greeting the resident and greeting the staff physician who was the surgeon for the case. He began the surgery, made the incision into the uterus, explaining to me the difference between a hysterotomy and a hysterectomy. He then inserted his hand into this incision in this large uterus and pulled out a baby that in my estimation was in the neighborhood of about 2 pounds in size. The baby was moving and struggling to breathe. Immediately, the surgeon plunged that baby into a basin of water next to him as the resident cut the cord and clamped the cord. The surgeon held the baby there until all movement ceased and life for that baby ended. I don't remember much of what took place after that because literally I was in shock. The resident explained to me the patient was approaching her 8th month of pregnancy. She had been seeing a psychiatrist throughout her pregnancy, and the psychiatrist determined that continuation of her pregnancy was a threat to her mental health. A second psychiatric opinion agreed with this conclusion, and the patient was scheduled at her wishes for a therapeutic abortion. And this was the first time I had seen anything like this. Even though this was 5 years before Roe versus Wade, the procedure was perfectly legal. However, all the reasoning in the world would not justify what I just witnessed: an intentional killing of another human being. This little baby struggled to experience life as all do, yet we snuffed that life out with little remorse. The event consolidated all that I had learned to that point about the development of the human embryo by seeing firsthand what the surgeon removed from the uterus and held in his hand. It was not a blob of tissue, but a living human being, just like you and me. It was a point of conviction for me, in that I was forced to choose between scientific reason and God's truth. On which would I stand? My answer would determine my career and my destiny. That day was the first day of my career as an obstetrician and gynecologist. At that moment, I determined I would wade into these waters and do what I could do to protect the unborn. As we wage this battle on behalf of the unborn, at times each of us feels like we're in this by ourselves. It sometimes becomes overwhelming, and you wonder if you can continue on. It's an incredible thrill for me to be up here, even though I can't see you very well. But to stand up here and view this room filled with people who share the same conviction and are fighting alongside me in this battle. On behalf of my mentor, partner, and very close friend, Dr. Philip Tyndall, his wife Carolyn, my wife Phyllis, I welcome you. A great evening of encouragement and challenge lies in front of us. Enjoy the food and the fellowship, and especially be uplifted by what you will see and hear tonight. And as we walk out of here, let us be one voice for the unborn in our community. Let us be a mighty voice of power and conviction to bring a halt to the intentional taking of life in the abortion chamber in this community and beyond. Let us encourage one another to stand on the truth and never waver. Thank you all for coming, and I pray that God will richly bless each and every one of you tonight. Welcome to the 13th Annual Banquet for Life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eastlund.